I know people have got to go, so I'm going to hurry through this. If at any point you want to stop and ask any questions, I'm happy to do it. To get started, I want to do one little thing. I know several of you have electronic devices, iPads or something. You all know how to get to the county website, is that correct? Get to the county website, you know how to go to the county code. What I'm taking is all out of the county code. I'm going to be looking at 1.05, which is the optional plan for Wasatch County. We all know this plan was adopted sometime around 2002, and it changed the commission form of government to an elected council and an executive, which is an appointed manager. The preamble talks about why they adopted the plan. The primary purpose was to have more separation between the executive and the legislative branches of government. Talking about how that breakdown goes, as you all know, with the commissioner, both the legislature and you're the executive council, you're the legislative arm, county manager is the executive arm, and historically those things have been put down, what is legislative, what is executive. Some of them are very clear, some of them are a little harder to figure out. The preamble just says where it's silent or where you don't know, just kind of look to see what has been done in the past and what you've got. In fact, if you want to go to state and federal separation of power models and look to see what they've done, that's what it suggests. I can tell you, in the end, it becomes a thing of the council can retain certain things and can give the rest to the manager pursuant to the plan. The role of the council under the optional plan was intended for the council to be a citizen body, part-time, the executive day-to-day running of the county be handled by the executive. It goes on to say, if you're dealing with special service districts, service areas, other distinct separate branches of government that deal with the council, to the best you can is to use administrative control boards and other boards so that you can retain the role of the legislative capacity or the administrative capacity. Composition of the council, 7 members. 2 of you are large members, 5 are from geographical districts. The core of the council is 4 members. As you have 4 members, you can't meet. As you know about the chair and vice chair, as you went through that, the chair sets the council's agenda. Only 3 ways to get something on the council's agenda. The chair can put it on. Any 2 members of the council together can put something on without the chair's permission, and the county manager can also have things on.
Not go backwards, will you?
Yeah.
It's that last sentence, additional items shall be included in the agenda with or without the support of the chair. That's with those other 2 options, is that what that means?
Yes. So it
Okay.
says upon request of 2 or more council members or the county manager, additional items.
Okay. I was thinking that in full
That's
sentence.
the way to get to the additional
Okay.
items. Voting is by roll call, which is, as you understand, is why you go yes, yes, yes. When you're, as a governing board of the district, sometimes you just want to say aye. This specifies it has to be by roll call vote, except for procedural motions, things that aren't the council making the decision. But for instance, last week when we were putting people on boards, we didn't use a roll call vote because that was just a procedural matter dealing with the council, not a legislative decision by the council that is you acting as a body. Second part down there takes 4 votes to do anything. So if you only have 4 people here as a quorum, it takes all 4 to vote to pass any motion or make any decision. I'm going to skip through conflict of interest. Craig is going to do that. Meetings of the council shall meet at least twice per month. this in here because it's in the optional plan. This is how, when those who wrote the optional plan were going through it, this is what they specified. Meetings are to be held in a time and place that will best accommodate and encourage public involvement, and regular meetings can be canceled by a vote of the council. The council is the legislative body of Wasatch County and has all legislative powers that the state has granted to county legislative bodies. In writing the optional plan, they tried to be more broad in giving the legislative power to the council rather than to try to take anything away. Some of the things you can do is adopt ordinances, adopt a code. I won't go through and read them all. You can probably read them faster than I read through them. We'll get into more into supervising the conduct of elected county officers and the county manager. Dispute resolution is one that is just as understandable. And this is really according to state code also. The optional plan is really near state code. So the council can supervise the elected officials, resolve disputes between elected officials, except that the council has no authority to resolve disputes between the council and another elected official or the manager. What that means is we'll get to is, even though you supervise elected officials, when it comes to what they were elected for their judgment as an assessor or their judgment as a treasurer, or for me, it's an interesting thing because as the county attorney, when it comes to criminal stuff, that's what I'm elected for. And even though you can supervise how my office is run, you don't supervise what I charge or don't charge, that sort of thing. And yet the flip side on the civil case is completely different because now I'm a civil attorney, the county is my client, and that litigation is directed through the county manager. So in that you have a very involved role in talking to us and what we do, what we don't do on the civil stuff. This is more of just what we talked about, supervising the different elected officers just in running the county as a whole. And then again, down there is what I just talked about, is what you don't do. There are some prohibitions of what the council can do. No member of the council can have any other elected public office during the membership on the council. Members of the council are subject to all other laws and limitations, subject to the sanctions and penalties. Being on the council doesn't give you any special treatment other than what is laid out by statute. Number 3 is the council doesn't get to try to influence the county manager on who he hires, on who he appoints to boards. In fact, it's a violation of the law to try to influence Mike on who he's going to hire, who he's going to appoint to boards, except, as you get down to the bottom, except from your open session, and you can always talk to Mike as a council, but you can't want to go separately with Mike and say, hey, I know so-and-so, that type of thing is really problematic. It was written in.
Can we just do an example on that real quick? Like, for example, the planning commission. People will submit their applications to Mike. He reviews those, and he would probably bring them to us for us to vote on. Is that correct?
Right. That's down at the bottom there. So Mike can come to you and say, I've got this issue with an employee, or he gives you someone he wants to appoint to do that. You're doing that as the council. That's perfectly okay. When you're working as a council in a public meeting, talk about anything that he wants to talk about is fine. But this is intended, I think, to keep people separately to go to Mike and say, I want to influence what you're doing on the site. It's not as a body, but as a council.
And Mike, occasionally, if we need to, when Mike presents his names to be approved, if a member of the council feels the need to, we can go into executive session under personnel to talk about if a council member knows something about that person that's maybe not general knowledge, and it would weigh into whether we vote for him or not, or abstain Mike's appointment. We might go into executive session to discuss that person.
I think Craig's going to discuss that today. So I won't go into that too much, but that is one of the reasons to go into a closed session, is to talk about the fitness and character of the person for working for the county. The county manager is the chief executive officer. He has all the executive administrative powers. Those authorized by the optional plan, state law. But there are some powers that are by statute left with the council. There are some situations where the council does have some say, but that's pretty much if a statute or a rule or something says this is what the council does, and it looks at executive in nature, the law says that, then that's power that you still retain. County manager supervises the employees. He supervises all the employees throughout the county, except for, again, the professional executive decisions of elected officials and their deputies in that area of work. For instance, in my office, Mike doesn't come and tell me how to run a criminal case, but he does set times when people come to work, go to work, when our offices are open, there are assistants for employees, all of that sort of thing is set for the county executive. Just looking to see if there's anything left out. Most of this I know is reviewed to you. I'm trying to distill some of the essence out of it. If you go to our municipal code on the optional plan, read it, you'll get a lot better feel and flow for it rather than here. And there's stuff. County manager is prepared an administrative code. He prepares an administrative code that's rules to run the county by. He brings those to the county council. Elected officials, each elected official supervises their deputies in the area where that official has executive power or to deal with what they were elected for. So we have an elected treasurer, and how the treasurer deals with the treasurer's duties. He gets to supervise his deputies and how all of that happens. What that's trying to point out is, in my office, if I want to do something one way and Craig wants to do it a different way, I supervise Craig rather than Mike or rather than the council supervising Craig. That's just a quick overview. I told you we had to hurry through it. We've got to go places. I'm happy to get anybody a copy of this. I'm happy to sit down with anybody and talk about what areas that you would like to know more in depth. And if you have any questions on it. Does anybody have any questions today?
I've got a quick one.
Okay.
Say there's a conflict with an employee, any county employee of any department, and they want to come to the council, should we then redirect them back to their department head? Is that the appropriate manner?
The appropriate manner is that they should start with their department head, and if they can't get their department head or they feel like they're not getting anywhere with their department head, then they go to Mike, and if they can't get anything through Mike, there's really a statutory route they're supposed to go. I don't think it ever comes to the council. Now,
Unless it's appeal, isn't there an appeal process which where the...
yes, but I don't think it's anywhere that they come to you and just say, hey, no one's listening to me.
I agree, and I guess my point is if they do come to us for whatever reason, we should then redirect them. At least that was my understanding. I want to make sure we...
And I think that's correct, and I think if something like that happens, I don't think there's any problem because you have supervisory duties as a council to say, now wait a minute, things aren't getting taken care of, what do we need to do there as a council? And I don't think it should be somebody coming to any one member of the council and saying, hey, you need help me with this or help me with that. I think there you got to redirect them unless they want to petition the council as a whole, bring something like that.
Yeah, I guess that was my point. It's a whole council, not just one if there are issues. Is that correct?
Exactly, and I don't think I've ever seen a situation where something has happened that I can't speak for department heads because I don't know of everything there. But I've never seen anything come to mind that he hasn't acted appropriately and quickly and dealt with the matter. And oftentimes, most of the council, except for those who are new, you get involved in that or at least notified of what's going on as is appropriate. So as a council, not as a superintendent. Any other questions? I know this is basic one-on-one stuff, probably for you new council members, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to sit down and go through it further.